AITAH for reporting my SIL to her exchange student host program when she omitted her PDF file husband from the application? Posted by you/Lingonberry Patsy. Throwaway account. I'll try to keep this as concise as possible. I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but I have several family members cutting me off right now. My husband's brother, Sean, has 2 felony arrests, one in 2019 and one in 2023, for possession and distribution of child porn. He was fired from his teaching position at a high school for alleged inappropriate contact with a female student. He has had inappropriate relationships with underage girls online throughout the entirety of his 15-plus-year marriage to my sister-in-law, Anne, including immediately after they were married. Edited for clarity, my own daughter, when she was about 5 or 6 years old, this was before we knew any of this, around 2009, she is in college now, once came running upstairs from the basement where she had been playing during a gathering with extended family and said, "Sean told me to touch his worm." We all froze and questioned him, but he said she was mistaken. We then questioned her separately, away from him, and were satisfied that she was okay. But after that, we never let any of our children be around him alone again. I want to be clear, I was a stay-at-home mom, and no one watched my kids but me. So he was never a caretaker for my children at any point. This is also why we have never allowed away sleepovers. Sorry, not sorry. Sean also took inappropriate photos of his wife's then 10-year-old sister while she was sleeping during a visit to their home. After the last felony arrest, and divorced Sean for legal protection because she's a teacher. Except they never stopped living together, and she never changed her name. Nothing changed. He also never faced any real consequences, just financial ones. He lost his job, but that's about it, because my in-laws basically footed the bill. He didn't even have to register as a sex offender. Okay, so here is where people are mad at me, and I ask, am I the jerk here? Anne posted in our local moms group and on her Facebook wall that she is hosting a foreign exchange student for the summer and asked if anyone else would be interested. My head about exploded. My family hosted the year before last. You need to have a kid near the same age as the student and be able to pass a background check. I knew Sean could never pass one. So how in the world were they hosting? My husband immediately called his parents. They happened to have both Sean and Anne's 2 kids there, who knew nothing about the exchange student and were stunned to hear about it. They had no knowledge of any plans for Sean to stay elsewhere during the summer. I asked the local coordinator from the exchange program to contact me. She told me that Anne had only listed herself as the adult on the application. Having been through the process before, I knew you have to include all adults 18 plus in the household. I told her that, unfortunately, Sean could never pass a background check due to his felony arrests for child porn and that he lives there full-time. The coordinator was absolutely horrified and thanked me for letting her know. Today, and texted my husband, absolutely freaking out. She accused us of breaking her daughter's heart over losing the exchange student, whom she hadn't even known about yesterday, accused me of hating Sean, being unchristian, hateful, and petty. I have lots of screenshots. Along the way, I also found out that Anne is absolutely convinced that only immediate family know about Sean's arrests, as if public records don't exist and people forgot our last name and the high school incident never happened. And my mother-in-law, Sean's mother, is disappointed that I didn't go to Anne first before going straight to the exchange student coordinator. I was also contacted by Anne's mother and soundly threatened to not mess with her family. I have now blocked them all across all socials. /relevant comments. Additional info from Op. I also forgot to mention, I'm a mandated reporter. Commenter. Honestly, your sister-in-law is likely one too, as a teacher. She doesn't need her job if her judgment is this poor. Op's response. She is also a mandated reporter. I've been saying this for days since this all started going down. Commenter 2. Asking for info, Sean and Anne's minor children still live with them? Op's response. Yes, they do, boy 11, girl 14. Commenter 3. Please reach out to his parole officer. Op's response. It's so messed up he doesn't have one. He was never convicted. Twice he was caught up in the same sting. He is so dumb that the second time he was arrested, they were watching the same sites, and he used the same logins with the same passwords. Anyway, all the county wanted was money for the huge fines. They let them all go. He spent like a week in jail, that's it. Op on law enforcement's awareness. The cops know he lives with his minor kids. The last time he was arrested, they told him they would be watching him even more closely. Hell, they arrested him a day in front of them. Op on Anne's relationship with the program owner. So, I'll elaborate a little here. Anne is personal friends with the owner of this company. She has been waiting years to finally host. She is more than furious with me because she is humiliated that I outed her. The truth is that she had zero intention of putting Sean on the application because her friend was the owner and assumed it wouldn't be looked at twice. Because, trust. Why didn't the op call the police after he asked her daughter to touch him? So this was in 2009 or thereabouts. Before any suspicious behavior had come to light. And knew about stuff but hadn't told anyone. And as far as we knew, she turned around and ran upstairs, nothing happened. And he acted completely dumb. Had we known about the other stuff, we would have had context. All I'll say now is hindsight is 20/20, and parenting is not for the weak. Update 2 days later. Late last night, my daughter, the one mentioned in this story, who is now an adult in a college student home on summer break, came home after spending several hours with her grandparents. They had a very long and thorough talk about the situation. They believe I instigated it but don't actually blame me. They say it will have serious and far-reaching effects within the family, and to that I say, these are natural consequences. And had no business applying to the program. And of course, if Sean had been a decent human being, none of this would even be a conversation. I told our daughter all the specific things she didn't know that Sean did. She had known for a long time he was a PDF file, she had that knowledge to keep herself safe. She has no recollection of the worm incident, but she told us something that upset us. My husband recounted how he would watch his brother basically groom, his word today, younger girls when they were teenagers. Please, be kind. This was in the 90s and he didn't know anything about this, he just knew it was weird. He said he would watch him flirt and manipulate younger ones, but he thought it was innocent. He noticed the behavior more and more as they got older but never thought it was sinister. Then our daughter said, "Okay, so this makes me feel better. When I was little, I had like a weird crush on Sean. I knew it was wrong because he was my uncle. But I feel confident that nothing physical happened to me because I was never alone with him. So somehow he was saying things to her, which is his mo. My mother-in-law says he has Peter Pan syndrome and blames all his problems on being stuck in his teenage years emotionally. I think it's a cop-out. Also, I received a text this morning from the exchange coordinator. It said, "Hi, so as it turns out, Anne's ex-husband is going to move out and she is going to host. He won't ever see the girl. I really appreciate you telling us everything." I responded, "So the problem I have with that is my husband called his parents before I ever spoke with you to find out if he was going to live with them, and they had no idea. Sean had no idea. And had no plans to tell you when she left him off the application. Just so you know, she planned all along for him to be there and for you to never know about it. She's untrustworthy. She tried to get him to be a chaperone on one of these exchange trips after his first arrest. You should also do a home visit. The house is a shambles and not fit for an extra person. I'll leave it at that. If they decide to let her host after all this, I don't know what, they are putting themselves in crazy liability." Second update 6 hours later. I got in touch with their corporate office and said it was egregious that, despite the information I had provided, they would still be allowed to host, and that Anne had admitted to me in writing that she had omitted him from the application and had not included any references who knew about his arrests. She said that to me plainly when accusing me of being the one to rat her out. They forwarded my complaint to the director of the local office, and she emailed me to call her. This happened to be the person who is Anne's friend. I called her and explained everything in detail. She was unaware of the magnitude of the situation. I said, "Please let me share with you the arrest reports." I forwarded them to her, "so you understand what you are dealing with." I said I know you are friends, and she cut me off and immediately began to distance herself from Anne, saying that they had worked together in the past. I explained my position as a mandated reporter, my obligation to protect any incoming minor, and of course, my own children. And that I was 1000% certain Anne had zero intention of moving Sean out of the house before any student arrived. Despite any intentions, the optics are terrible. She agreed completely and said that the liability was too great and they would be taking them off the hosting list. I also told her about Anne's mother threatening me over this, and she was sympathetic and offered to deny them based on the home visit rather than any background check or living situation. I told her that Anne already hates me, so it matters little what reason she gives them for the denial. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. What the hell is Anne thinking? Why is she so keen on hosting? Like, is the exchange student a present for Sean or what? Commenter 2. I'm getting procurer vibes from Anne. This feels like more than willful blindness, as bad as that might be. Commenter 3. So, what is everybody drinking after reading this? I'm thinking turpentine.